The air in the car was thick with the scent of rain-soaked asphalt, and my breath fogged the windshield as I idled outside the animal shelter. My fingers drummed the steering wheel, a nervous rhythm against the hum of the engine. "Okay, I'm out front waiting." I'd texted Sarah 10 minutes ago, my words casual, trusting. Her reply never came. Instead, my phone buzzed with a single frozen moment. A photo she'd accidentally sent, her face pale, eyes wide, standing in a dimly lit room that wasn't the shelter. A man's hand rested on her shoulder, his wedding ring glinting under fluorescent light. My stomach lurched, a cold fist twisting inside me. I stared at the image, my thumb hovering over the screen. The shelter's neon sign flickered in my peripheral vision, casting a sickly green glow across the dashboard. Sarah had said she was volunteering tonight, her voice bright over breakfast, her hazel eyes crinkling with that familiar warmth. "They need help with the new rescues," she'd told me, her fingers brushing mine as she passed the coffee pot. I'd believed her. I always believed her. But the photo, her expression, the stranger's hand, felt like a shard of glass slicing through the trust we'd built over 7 years. I typed, "Where are you?" My thumb hesitated, then hit send. The message sat there, delivered but unread, mocking me with its silence. Rain pattered against the roof, each drop a tick of a clock I hadn't realized was counting down. My mind raced, stitching together fragments of the past few weeks. Her late nights, her phone angled just out of view. The way she'd laughed too quickly when I asked about her day. Small things, dismissible things. But now they loomed jagged and sharp. The shelter's glass doors reflected my headlights, but no one emerged. I gripped the wheel tighter, my knuckles whitening. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe she'd sent the photo by accident, meant for someone else, a friend, a coworker. My heart clung to the possibility, fragile as a thread. But the man's hand, that ring, it wasn't mine. I'd stopped wearing mine years ago, a casualty of working with my hands at the garage. Sarah had never minded, or so she'd said. I killed the engine and stepped into the rain, the chill seeping through my jacket. The shelter's parking lot was nearly empty, save for a rusted pickup and a minivan with a faded "Pause for Love" sticker. Inside, the lobby smelled of wet fur and disinfectant. A teenage volunteer glanced up from her phone, her bored expression shifting to mild curiosity. "You looking for someone?" she asked, popping her gum. "My wife, Sarah. She's volunteering tonight." My voice sounded steady, but my chest was a storm of doubt. The girl frowned, scrolling through a clipboard. "No Sarah here tonight. We've only got 2 volunteers, and they're both back with the kennels." The words hit like a punch. I forced a nod, muttering something about a mix-up, and stumbled back into the rain. My phone was still silent. I called her, the line ringing once, twice, then voicemail. Her voice, bright and warm, asked me to leave a message. I didn't. Instead, I opened the photo again, zooming in on the background. A cluttered desk, a bulletin board with pinned flyers, a window with rain streaking down. Not the shelter. Somewhere else, somewhere she hadn't told me about. I drove home, the wipers slapping rhythmically, each swipe clearing the rain but not the haze in my mind. Our house was dark when I pulled into the driveway, the porch light we usually left on for each other unlit. Inside, the living room felt too still, the air heavy with the scent of her lavender candles. Her coat wasn't on the hook. Her boots, usually mud-caked from her walks with our dog Max, were missing. Max whined from his crate, his tail thumping as I let him out. "Where's she at, huh?" I muttered, scratching his ears. He tilted his head, oblivious to the weight crushing my chest. I sank onto the couch, the photo still burning in my mind. My thoughts spiraled, each one darker than the last. Was she with him now? Had she been lying for weeks, months? The Sarah I knew, my Sarah, laughed at my bad jokes, cried during sappy movies, and kissed me goodnight even when we fought. Could that Sarah be someone else entirely? I wanted to scream, to demand answers, but all I had was silence and a grainy photo. The front door creaked open an hour later. Sarah stepped inside, her hair damp, her cheeks flushed. She froze when she saw me, her keys slipping from her hand to clatter on the hardwood. "Tom," she said, her voice high, brittle. "You're home early." "Where were you?" I asked, my tone flat, though my pulse thundered. She hesitated, her eyes darting to the side before meeting mine. The shelter, she said too quickly. I told you they needed help with the new dogs. I held up my phone, the photo glaring between us. Her face crumpled, just for a second, before she masked it with a forced laugh. What's this? You spying on me now? Who's he? I asked, my voice low. Dangerous. I hated how it sounded, how it felt, like I was someone else, someone who didn't trust his wife. But the evidence was there, undeniable. And it carved a hollow space where my certainty used to be. She stepped closer, her hands outstretched, placating. It's not what you think, Tom. God, you're blowing this out of proportion. Her voice was steady now, but her fingers trembled. That's just Mike from the shelter. We were at a meeting, not volunteering. I must have gotten the days mixed up. A meeting? I echoed, the word bitter on my tongue. At 9 at night? In some office I've never heard of. Her eyes flashed, a mix of guilt and defiance. Yes, a meeting. We're planning a fundraiser. You know how much the shelter means to me. She crossed her arms, her posture closing off, but her voice softened. You're being paranoid. I love you. You know that. I wanted to believe her. Every fiber of me ached to grab her, to pull her close and erase the doubt. But the photo, that hand, her frozen expression, it wouldn't let go. Show me your phone, I said, the words slipping out before I could stop them. Her jaw tightened. What? If it's nothing, show me. Let me see the messages, the calls. Prove it. My voice cracked, betraying the desperation clawing at me. She stared, her silence louder than any confession. Then slowly, she reached into her pocket and handed me her phone. The screen was locked. Passcode. I said, my throat dry. She hesitated, her lips parting as if to argue, then typed it in. I scrolled through her texts, my hands shaking. There it was, a thread with Mike. Innocent messages at first. Meeting at 7. Can you bring the flyers? But then buried deeper, a message from last week. Missed you tonight. Can't wait for Thursday. My vision blurred, the words searing into me. Tom, it's not, she started, but I cut her off, holding up the phone. Don't lie to me, Sarah. Not now. My voice broke, raw and ragged. She sank onto the couch, her hands covering her face. It wasn't supposed to happen, she whispered, her voice muffled. It was just a moment. A stupid, fleeting thing. I didn't mean to hurt you. The room spun. I wanted to yell, to throw something, to make her feel the pain tearing through me. But all I could do was stand there, clutching her phone, the weight of her words sinking in. How long? I asked, barely audible. A month, she admitted, her voice small. It's over now. I swear. I ended it last week. I laughed, a harsh, hollow sound. You ended it? And you didn't think to tell me? You let me sit here, believing in us while you... I couldn't finish. The betrayal wasn't just the act. It was the secrecy, the choice to keep me in the dark. I didn't want to lose you, she said, tears streaming down her face. I love you, Tom. I messed up, but I love you. I turned away, my eyes burning. The rain had stopped, leaving only the drip of the gutter outside. Max whined at my feet, sensing the fracture in the air. I thought of the life we'd built, the late-night talks, the plans for kids, the way she'd trace circles on my palm when we watched TV. Could I forgive her? Could I ever look at her without seeing that photo? That hand? I need time, I said finally, my voice barely a whisper. I grabbed my keys and walked out, the door slamming behind me. The night was cold, the stars hidden behind clouds. As I drove, her words echoed. It's over now. But something else lingered, a truth she hadn't spoken. The photo was from tonight. She hadn't ended anything.